What up? Me again. But you guys probably knew that because you clicked on the video. So you knew it was going to be me. So no surprises here. And I want to reminisce today because I love reminiscing, particularly on things that make me happy or made me happy. So the thing I want to reminisce about today is the NBA bubble and how awesome it was. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh, the NBA bubble was trash. It wasn't real. It was fake. Like, shut up. Like, just shut all that up. Like, that's, like, I don't want to hear it, right? Like, it was during COVID. There wasn't anything going on. And you're telling me that you didn't enjoy watching NBA basketball again in this neutral environment. It was something that we had never seen before, and it was incredible. And there are several reasons why I think it was incredible. Because it was like this ginormous AAU tournament on like the greatest scale. Like it turned the NBA into a ginormous AAU tournament in Orlando of all places, which would also be where a huge AAU tournament would be. And just like the drama, the storylines, the games, the playoff series, like everything was just so great. And it's hard for me to tell if it was like because of the fact that like nothing was really going on in the world, but like I'm such a huge basketball fan as it is that like when basketball got, basically canceled, the season got postponed, right? Because Rudy Gobert got COVID and then was making a joke about it and all that. I was like, oh man, like I don't know when I'm gonna see basketball again. And that was really sad for me. I was very sad. And then the bubble came along. I think it was in July when it came along, and it was just great. We saw so many crazy things. We saw TJ Warren have a 50-plus point game. That was insane. That if you guys haven't seen that or you don't remember it, go look that up on YouTube. TJ Warren 50-point game in the bubble. It's insane. It's insane. The guy is just like lights out, just absolutely lights out, just cooking. So that was one awesome piece. There was just drama. There was Daniel House that got kicked out because he was bringing people into the bubble, bringing a girl into the bubble, I presume, and then he got kicked out. So the Rockets kind of got messed up with that one because Daniel House was a pretty big piece for them at that point. The playoff series, though, were just crazy. There was that Luka step back game winner against the Clippers. The Nuggets, the entire playoffs. They came back down from a 3-1 deficit twice. That's insane. And in the first series against the Jazz, Jamal Murray dropped 50 points in 2 separate games. Like, that was really like the birth of the Nuggets team as we know it today. And it's obviously changed a little bit. But that was when everyone was like, okay, like the Nuggets are legit. Like, Jokic is legit. Jamal Murray is legit. Like, these guys are going to win. If it's not now, they're going to win at some point. And they did. They eventually fell to the Lakers. But, that was a crazy time. That was a crazy time. And I remember there was like an Instagram or a Snapchat story or whatever of like Jamal Murray or Donovan Mitchell. Because Donovan Mitchell dropped 50 points in that series too. I think they dropped 50 in the same game in one of them. One of the ones that Jamal dropped 50. Donovan also dropped 50. And then it was like, he like took a Snapchat and was like, oh, I just dropped 50 on him. This guy just dropped 50 on me, and now I gotta go see him in the cafeteria. Like, it was just like, it was such like a wholesome vibe. Like, it was like all these guys were like in high school or like in camp together. It was so funny. And a lot of the stories about, just like the vibe that was in the bubble, it kind of is that same sentiment that I'm providing is like, like the teams were just sticking together. Like they would just like be play video games in their hotel rooms, and they would just like vibe with each other all day. So like the teammate chemistry must have been like off the chain, and it was just like I just could only imagine. That's probably such a fun experience to have, and I can understand why like the Lakers get mad that like everyone's like, oh, it's not a legit championship that they won. Like, come on, man. Like that's, if anything, like I was just saying, like T.J. Warren was dropping 50 points. Like Jamal Murray was dropping 50 points multiple times in the playoffs. Like if other players didn't think it was like real basketball, that's on them. That doesn't mean that it's not as hard for the Lakers to win that championship. Like you're out of your routine so much being in there. I mean, let alone it's this global pandemic that's taken over the whole world. Then you're just like isolated and stuck in this hotel. All you can do is play basketball. So if these other guys that they're going up against aren't about it, you know, like shame on them, right? Like you guys are professionals. You guys play basketball for a living. Take this as an opportunity to get better. And I think a lot of guys did. I think just the people that didn't want to be there, like the Clippers, and you know, they're just like, oh well, it didn't count. Like, yes, it did. Like everyone, 100 years from now, people are gonna be like, who won the 2020 NBA championship? The Lakers did. No one's gonna be like, oh well, it doesn't count. Like that's crazy to me. I'm sure there's championships that happened in the 50s and the 60s that, you know, maybe there was some crazy circumstances that went on. You know, who knows? Nothing like what the bubble was, but you never know, right? But yeah, the bubble, I mean, especially for me, like dealing with COVID, like I was living in California at the time, and you know, I wasn't really doing much. I couldn't really see my friends. You know, my friends were kind of, you know, skeeved out about getting COVID. I was too, you know, and so I was in my last semester of college, or I was going into my last semester of college when the bubble was going on. And it was like I was only taking 2 classes because I only had that much left to finish up. So it was a fairly easy semester for me. Everything was online because that was what you had to do. And I was taking class throughout the whole bubble because I took classes in the summer that were online, and then I took 2 classes my final semester, which was when the bubble was wrapping up, like in the playoffs and stuff. So that whole time, what I would do was like I would get up at like 8 in the morning. I would go play basketball at an outdoor court for like 2-3 hours, and I would just hoop. I would like listen to podcasts, listen to music, and it would be so early that like people wouldn't be there, right? So I would just be playing by myself, working out. Some of the best workouts that I've ever had, honestly. Like that was like my like peak basketball shape. I was just like constantly just like doing drills and everything I could to get better at basketball, because that was like there was nothing else going on. So I was like, you know, might as well do stuff that I like to do. You know, so I'd get done like 11 o'clock, you know, always before noon. I would be there like latest like 8 to 12. And I would go get myself some food. I would go to my favorite Mexican place, get a burrito. I would come home, and by that time, like especially during like the regular season portion of the bubble, like games would just be on, and I would just be watching basketball the rest of the day, doing my homework, you know. And you know, I'm sure like a ton of people during COVID, like I was on Zoom for my class, but like my kitchen table was like in my living room basically, so I would sit there and I would be able to also see the TV. So I would be like in class, but I would be watching basketball all day. So it was just like, it was great. It was like one of the most fun times. It made a really not fun situation in the world so much more like fun, and I just like it made, you know, time pass a little more quickly until we were kind of out of this whole, you know, COVID issue. And you know, it was just awesome. And like the cherry on top was like all these guys just like playing their best and having these like breakout moments, like Jamal Murray, Jimmy Butler too, like Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Like that was really the start of like when we were like, okay, like the Heat are legit, like the Heat are gonna be contenders, you know, for a while. And then, you know, ever since, you know, they've kind of been like at the, you know, they coast through the regular season, and then, you know, sometimes they make a pretty big run, get into the playoffs. You know, they were in the finals against the Nuggets, so, you know, they still got some work to do to actually get that championship. But that was when, like, people were like, okay, like, Jimmy Butler's, like, for real, you know. Jimmy Butler's legit, and now we get why he left the Sixers and why he wanted to go to the Heat. And, you know, it was just such a time, you know. And that was probably, like, the quickest turnaround we had for the NBA, because I think the bubble ended, like, beginning of October. That was when the Lakers won the championship, which was also just, like, crazy. Like, I've never witnessed, like a basketball season ending around when basketball typically starts. And so that was crazy. But the turnaround was, like, I think they had 2 months off, and then the regular season started in December. It might have started on Christmas. And it was just, you know, business as usual. So I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it because so many people are always like, oh, the bubble was stupid. And I'm like, I would have been way more just, like, sad throughout the entirety of COVID if the bubble never happened. So, Adam Silver, you did the right thing. You know, I don't think anybody got COVID. I don't think anyone in the bubble got COVID. And I think they, like, you know, basically axed Daniel House, you know, as soon as something happened with that, where they were like, you know, you can't come back. I think the same thing happened with Lou Williams. That's why everyone was calling him Lemon Pepper Lou, because he, like, went out to go get wings or something. So it was just funny, and there was nothing else going on, and, you know, it was just basketball, you know. And if you're a basketball junkie like me, then you probably feel the same way, and you probably still think about the bubble sometimes, as in, like, damn, like, that was a cool time, even though there was so much, you know, just bad stuff going on in the world. Like, it was just this section of peace and tranquility and excitement that we had, because basketball was back. So hopefully they never have to do the bubble again, but it's something that I'll never forget.